it's one thing for stylists to be working with celebrities as they have to sort of go on red carpets or the gigantic press runs they got to do for movies. But it seems like more and more celebrities are relying on stylists just for their everyday looks.
I hired a stylist.
And you know what? It seems to be kind of working. There's something about the stylist that can kind of function as a bit of a star maker. And so that's what our conversation is about today. I got a lot out of this conversation. I hope that you do too. Get into it. Jarrod Jenkins is here and Avery Trufelman is here. Hello, both of you. How's it going?
Hello, Elamin.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's nice to have you here. Jarrod, I'm going to start with you. I think like on the surface, you know, a stylist's job is just to make a celebrity look good. That's the description of the job. But there's a lot more to it. Could you want to talk a little bit more about how important stylists are to celebrities and their entire careers?
Oh, sure. It's vitally important. I mean, stars are just as important as the product that they're promoting, whether it's a movie or a television show. I think a really great example is Pedro Pascal, who has been acting for a very long time, but a lot of people didn't discover him until his short but important role as Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones. That's where I first discovered him. And because he was already in his 30s at that point, he really wanted to tell the story as kind of like, you know, still a leading man, as someone who's like desirable. And so Julia Rogolia was really involved with that, as someone who's kind of taken me on as a mentee. I actually just saw her last week in Paris, and she's kind of responsible for him being like a zaddy, right? And so he's now considered one of the best dressed people in Hollywood, in large part because of her. And that's really how he got to become a leading man, because being like everything he wears is a scene.
I like this implication, though, that like the idea that like Pedro Pascal was like ancient and well into his career. And then suddenly it was like, oh, a star is reborn. But you're totally right. Like he's had a lengthy career before this sort of like zaddy phase of his career, like which is like, you know, exploded onto the scene as like an A-lister probably in the last like 3 or 4 years or so. Avery, it kind of feels like everything is polished at the moment, right? Like you kind of see a lot of these like really polished look. But if you sort of look back at the 90s, like people were showing up to their premieres in like jeans and just be like, yeah, I have a movie. What do you want from me? You investigated this sort of whole phenomenon for Dakota Ring. At what point would you say celebrity styling, as we know it right now, kind of gained the momentum that it has?
The modern world of celebrity styling really started around the 1980s. And the big innovator of this world was actually Armani. The House of Armani, Mr. Armani himself, and a lot of the people who worked for the house were like reaching out to stylists, because before the 70s, when we're talking about like the golden age of Hollywood and the studio system, stars never dressed themselves. Like the studio sort of provided for them, and the costume designers would often design all their clothes, even their wedding dresses. So they kind of had this consistent aura of glamour around them, and they were actors. They weren't shopping for themselves, and often their styles would kind of like change for whatever movie they were promoting. When the studio system disbanded, suddenly the stars were on their own, and this is where you get celebrities on the red carpet in the 70s wearing like a t-shirt and jeans. They really didn't know what to do. This is not their job. And so Armani sort of extended a hand and was like, look, let us take care of you. And most notably started putting these actors on screen. Like Richard Gere in American Gigolo is wearing an amazing Armani linen suit. And this sort of like Armani star rose with celebrities. They sort of harnessed the power of Hollywood to build their brand, and it created this like symbiotic relationship between brands and stylists and celebrities.
What's interesting, Avery, is that like you cut to now and you have celebrities, you have stylists who are celebrities in their own right. People get like really excited to see them, but also you have celebrities on red carpets talking about their stylists, telling a story, telling the story of how that look sort of came to be. So it's really not just about like, oh, who are you wearing? It's like, it's also like who was your stylist and how did they put this look together? Is there a stylist that you can think of who kind of like put sort of celebrity styling on the map in that way?
Yeah, I would say it's Rachel Zoe. Rachel Zoe was really a stylist who was a prominent figure in her own right. She had her own reality show, and she had a very distinctive style. And if you think back to like the early aughts, like Lindsay Lohan and Nicole Richie and Misha Barton, they all had this kind of boho chic thing going on.
Yeah.
And it was so easy to clock, like, oh, that's Rachel Zoe's look. It was one of these rare moments where you're like, where does this trend come from? It all goes back to like this stylist, and her star really rose. And I think that was the first time that people understood, like, oh, this is what a stylist does.
I will say, Misha Barton, I haven't heard that name in years. So, Jarrod, maybe you want to sort of take us in a slightly more sort of contemporary space here. Like, is there a stylist that you think has kind of changed the game in recent years?
I think La Roche has definitely changed the game. I mean, he is very much a celebrity in his own right with over 1 million followers. What he's done with Zendaya, kind of taking her from a Disney star to becoming like a Hollywood, the A-lister of A-listers, and a Louis Vuitton house ambassador has been nothing short of amazing. Avery talked about costume designers when he's working with Ariana Grande for the Wicked tour. He styled her in a 1952 dress from Gilbert Adrian, who was the Wizard of Oz costume designer. So just goes to show his storytelling and connecting different generations, and like that is art, right?
And that's La Roche after he said he was retiring. You know what I mean? So it seems it seems like it's been a slightly busier retirement there, La Roche, but that's an entirely separate conversation. Okay, I want to play a clip that maybe illustrates the expectations that celebrities may face about their style. So what you're going to hear is Matt Bernstein. He's an influencer with about 2 million followers. And last week, photos of him went viral because people criticized him for not having a stylist because he wears his regular clothes to events. And here's a part of his response.
Some people said my nails don't match my outfit, but I don't get my nails done to go to an event. I get them done and then I keep them on for 3 weeks like a normal person. There's this expectation for anyone even remotely considered a public figure, regardless of the actual resources they have, to be styled and tailored and cinched and beat. But I just personally don't care that much. And if I don't care, why should you?
Jarrod, when you hear that, what do you make of that?
Well, I think it kind of depends on what the event is. Like if he's like one of the images that you just showed in the clip was him like at an actual event where you reasonably expect there to be photographers. And if it's something's a red carpet event or something where you expected there to be like press coverage there, then you probably should have some good faith effort to dress up. You probably don't have to have, couture look on, but you should probably have something that's like kind of put together versus if you're, running errands and going to the grocery store. I don't think it's reasonable to think people should be dressed up in their Sunday finest if they're just going to grab some apples.
I like this because Avery sounds like Jarrod is not gonna let him off the hook. He's like, we still could have tried a little more. But what one of the things that Matt sort of mentions in that clip though, Avery, is this cost of styling, the idea that a look can cost thousands of dollars. How does that comment land for you?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me kind of sad because I like his style. If you saw that guy walking down the street, you'd be like, that's a stylish person.
Yeah.
And also, earlier on in the video, he talks about like, I biked to this event. And I'm like, oh my God, a man after my own heart. This is so sweet. I almost wish there was like a button you could wear to be like, this is just me, like I'm not
That's just what I normally look like. Yes.
That's what I do. But I also find it very endearing. My favorite example of this is the director, Oliver Lax, who made one of my favorite movies of the year, Surat. Like if you Google him, it's one of my favorite things. He's wearing the same shirt like all the time. It's one shirt. And granted, he looks like an Adonis, so that guy can sort of wear anything. But I think there's also something that's sort of like humanizing in this lack of expression.
Yeah, I think, and also something that says that like, this is who I am. I don't know why you expect this look to sort of like need to cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Jarrod, no, I'm joking. I'm not. There's no need for me to roast you over this. But let me ask you, we've been talking about this idea of like celebrity styling sort of becoming ubiquitous in this way. What does that tell you about this moment that we're in? The idea that actually like so many people are turning to celebrity styling?
I will concede that I do think we're kind of in this this curation loop. I do think that there's this expectation that just like your whole life has to be on this perfect cycle. And it's funny because Adam Mosseri, who's the head of Instagram, recently came out, I think it was on New Year's Eve actually, and he said Instagram is going to look very different going forward because it's going to actually penalize people for perfect aesthetics because AI can do that. And so now they're really trying to have more authentic experiences and they're going to push that content. So it'll be really interesting to see how that translates into fashion because right now they don't want to see your absolute best. They want to see something that lets us know this isn't AI.
I will say that like when I see just an Instagram post that has any filter whatsoever. I'm like, I don't think I need to look at this. This is for somebody else. I'm not. That seems to be like the place that we're in right now. Is like there's a little bit less of a filtered look there. But having said that, one of the more iconic looks that I sort of remember from I say remember as though it's been a long time. It's been a month and a half. But it's the Timothée Chalamet look, right? Like there's Timothy and Kylie dressed all in orange. It didn't matter whether you liked it or hated it. You remembered it, right? Like there's something about that look that makes you go, okay, at least I'm thinking about this. And that has to do with Timothy's general press run for this movie that he's on right now, Marty Supreme. But also that look is just so memorable that you have a big sort of feeling as a reaction to it. Jarrod, is there a look in the middle of all this award season where you're like, I'm paying attention to that stylist? Actually, I think they're doing really interesting work.
You nailed it. Taylor McNeil is the architect behind Timothée Chalamet, and she also did Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl last year and Brad Pitt for F1 press tour last year. She is on fire. And then, he has Dune 3 coming up this year, so you're going to see a lot of her works coming up. But she has the ability to make very, very memorable. Everything she does is like front page news. And so it's very exciting to follow.
It's nice to sort of see a look and go like, oh, I am not going to forget this look for a while. I might even forget what movie it was for, but I'm not going to forget the look itself. Avery, is there a stylist that for you, you're like, I'm really loving the work that they're doing right now?
Oh my God. Well, Jarrod, I love that you called them like architects, like an architect of the look. And I think the person who I'm really watching right now is the architect of Rama Dewajji's look, the First Lady of New York City,
yes.
Gabriella Carifa Johnson. I mean, what she has to straddle in terms of self-expression, politics, propriety. I mean, First Lady Rama really has her work cut out for her. And I love that Gabriella Carifa Johnson is also writing about it on Substack, talking about every decision. She's really sort of opening up what the job is and what the task at hand is. And also, obviously, Rama looks incredible all the time. And that's always really fun.
Well, I was going to say, like the idea that when you're working with celebrities like Rama or like Timothée Chalamet, those are the kinds of people that, like, if you get one look right, then like that makes you a household name as a stylist yourself, right? Like that's to me, like is the thing that is really exciting. Has there been a stylist that's kind of like surprised you in the last little while, Avery, where you're like, whoa, I don't know where that came from, but suddenly you're everywhere and I'm enjoying the thing that you're doing?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, the thing about a great stylist is if they're really doing their job well, you kind of don't know who they are. And you're like, well, how did so-and-so get so well dressed? It's amazing.
Yeah.
They've like really come into their own. Jarrod, I feel like you would know who did Jennifer Lawrence's styling, but like she just kind of like emerged as a style icon lately.
I'm actually not sure. But yeah, I've been paying attention. Yeah.
And like whoever that is, props them.
I was going to say, like, I like this way of looking at it. Like if you're subtly noticing a celebrity be like, oh, I don't know what happened here, but there's been some kind of transformation, then that's a thing to pay attention to. I appreciate
they probably got a new stylist.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say thank you to both of you for being on the show today. This has been wonderful. I really appreciate your time. Thanks again.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for having us.
Thank you. Jarrod Jenkins is a fashion critic and stylist based in LA, and Avery Trufelman is the host of the fashion podcast Articles of Interest. She's based in New York. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This show is called Commotion. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow.